Hello, everybody. My name is Lucy Iteba, and I was doing my internship at Riverwood Seniors Residence. It's in Alliston, and the website for the facility is, as you can see it on my page. I got my internship by calling the institution. Luckily enough, I was able to talk to the manager. She's called Ruth. I later got a call, and then I was called in for an interview, which was then accepted, and I started my internship on the 31st of January 2024. By the end of my placement, I was able to get all my goals. Like I was able to to be able to place food orders, which was done on a weekly basis. Cisco and Cordon were our main suppliers, and that orders were done online. So we used the computer to make our orders for the foods. I was able to do meal plans by week 4. I will work in the dining room when the residents were having their meals during lunchtime, and I will take orders for their next day's meals. I kept a very good relationship with my coworkers. I was able to make friends, and we could actually talk outside work and things related with life, just outside what I was doing in the facility. For example, one of my friends was able to help me get an interest in planting. So I'm right now learning on how to plant. I learned so many recipes, and most of the recipes I was able to try them at home with my family and they enjoyed them. I specifically loved making desserts. As you can see in the picture, that is one of the desserts that I made during the Valentine Days. That was on February 14th. We made soup every day. So the starter ingredients were onions, carrots, and celery. I will prepare these things and store them in the cook's fridge, and the cook will be able to just take them out and start his or her soup. So the soup could be chicken, beef, vegetable, whatever. So all the food that was kept in the fridge had to be written. You had to write the date of the food you're keeping in the fridge. This one helped us to keep track of the food that is put in the fridge and when it was put. And it also helped us not to serve the residents with stale meals. First in, first out principle was used. So the food that was brought in first was used first. This was to help consume the food that came in first and to avoid spoilage of foods and wastage. We took the temperature of the fridges and the freezers every day. This was to make sure that the fridge and the freezers were still working, because if we could store the food in the fridge and the freezers and yet they stopped working, all the food will go bad and that will result into losses or cooking food which is already gone bad. Food temperature was also important when cooking. It helped us to cook food to the right temperatures. So the food like the meats, the fish, and the porridge, they always took the temperatures of the food when it was cooking, and when it was ready, the internal temperature was taken just to make sure that they were actually up to the temperature which is required. I learned more of hands-on things like cooking and cleaning, and I felt like in my next placement, I will focus on the managerial responsibilities because I did, yes, managerial, a little bit of managerial responsibilities, but most of my responsibility was more on just, putting my hands on. Some of the things that I learned was on how to set the table, as you can see in the picture below. This was me setting up the dining room, and I was able to know how to set the plates, the cups, and the silverware and the napkins, like knowing where to put them in the correct place and in a place that is appealing. I enjoyed interacting with the residents and getting to know them in a personal level. So when I was not in the kitchen, I was out with the residents and trying to talk with them, asking them what they like doing, what they enjoy doing, the food they love, and a little bit of just the fun things they do. Most of the residents, because they're all seniors, had like special diet, but generally I can say that the food was always soft and easy to eat, and those people were not able to eat the food that is a little bit like in chunks. It was cut into very small pieces or blended. My fear was always when a resident passed on. I never got used to that, regardless of like the residents being old and us knowing like, well, they will they're nearing their, their lifespan, their death. But still I never got used to that. It was always very emotional to me. My greatest challenge was the change of the kitchen management in the facility. So when I was there was a new manager who came in, and there was a challenge because I was learning in the kitchen and the manager was also learning. So at some point, I felt like I wasn't able to get as much as I was supposed to. If you're considering going to this placement in this facility in Alliston, go for it. Ruth, the general manager, is very, very good. And Sandy and Joanne, who work in the kitchen, are very great too. They can always help you out with whatever you want, and they're very friendly. You will be ready to learn more than you can imagine in the kitchen. There are good people in the facility who will help you learn. There are very many people, and they will work together with you. They will they're always willing to help where they can. In conclusion, I can say that nutrition management is a very, very challenging career, especially when managing people. It needs a lot of patience and understanding because people have different personalities, different temperaments, and you have to make sure that you're in charge of them and they're working right so that work can be done. Thank you so much.